Ryan to start the engine and drive us into the future, because this is the first of thousands to come.
The first U.S.-made BMW rolls off the production line. A moment of great satisfaction for a new generation of automotive craftsmen. But this was only one of many important steps in a story that's just begun.
Perhaps only once in a lifetime, anyone is afforded the opportunity to watch dreams come true.
To be successful in the world, a company has to be successful in the United States. To demonstrate our dedication to the United States and our conviction to remain successful, we have decided to build this plant here.
It's my honor to break this ground.
2 spades of dirt,
Central government.
and BMW launched into one of the most ambitious startup projects in automotive history. In just over 100 weeks, bulldozers and earth movers would give way to the first U.S.-made BMWs. The decision to spend $500 million on the new plant was far bolder than most realized at the time. Sales had fallen dramatically, and there was even talk of leaving the U.S. market.
Everybody thought at the late 80s and early 90s that German car manufacturers anyway have no future in the US. One quickly forgets that, particularly on the background of today's sales figures, but there was more of a discussion as to when the Germans are withdrawing from the US than the question who is to invest into a plant in the US.
2,000 construction workers labored sometimes around the clock to have the factory ready in time. As word of the project spread, the new company, BMW Manufacturing Corporation, attracted a staff from across the United States. Thousands of resumes and applications poured in. But to actually build its cars, BMW would recruit a South Carolina workforce. Now they would all be part of a new corporate culture and identity.
And I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's like I tried so hard just to finally find out that I was the one.
Very excited, a little nervous. We couldn't believe it. Out of 60,000 applications, that here we sat.
Respect for the individual. That's why we address each other by first names, why we work without walls or exclusive offices, why we wear uniforms, to eliminate distinctions and differences among us, even within departments.
With production now 8 months away, training needed to begin immediately. But with the factory still under construction, there was only one thing to do. Send the new associates to Germany, home of the Autobahn. And what better place to appreciate the cars they'd build? This is where the Germans find out if a car has the right stuff. If work is to take you away from home and family for weeks at a time, there are worse places to be sent than Munich, the capital of Bavaria and BMW's hometown. Enjoying the atmosphere was a bit difficult at first, as work for the new associates began well before dawn each day.
That ain't bad for an IBM marketing representative, is it? Last year at this time I was out talking with the customer and trying to implement an IBM computer system. Car making in Germany is a very precise skill. Some of these guys spend 3 years as apprentices. Our guys having to learn the basic skills and the techniques within a matter of weeks.
They're doing fairly well. There's a lot of pressure on them. It's taken me 2 years to learn this whole section here. And like Rob has to learn it in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And a lot of paperwork on top of stuff. I don't envy you, you know.
He's doing it in 10 seconds. From start weld to finish weld. He's doing 4 welds in 10 seconds. Very impressive. Well, these gentlemen here have anywhere from 2 to 15, 20 years welding experience. I have a grand total of 1 month.
And what happens if you foul up?
It's possible you could scrap the car. What they call a Schrott.
Schrott?
Schrott. Scrap. Where you have your gun?
How did he do?
Perfect.
Good? Perfect.
Wouldn't go that far.
At first, the Americans stood out because of their uniforms. But after the German trainers asked to wear the same uniforms, you could tell them apart only by their accents.
They made us feel pretty much at home right from the beginning. At work, they wore the same uniforms that we wore. When we worked on the line, they were always right there with us, giving us whatever we needed as far as our attention to training.
Heavy manufacturing work in Germany still is done mostly by men. It is especially unusual to see women in automotive welding.
You don't see too many women out here doing it, and the ones we see are back on the backside of the plant.
Yeah.
So it's hard work, but I think I can do it. I'm tired at times, and I'm excited at times learning something new. I worked at digital equipment, and we made circuit boards for computers. I have never dreamed about doing welding. Thank you. Well done.
No one was expected to master car building skills in the 6 to 8 weeks in Germany. Many more months of training and practice would follow in the U.S. But the associates proved they could quickly overcome the language barrier.
But German.
For Eileen Huffman, becoming part of the testing group was a big change from making automotive fuel injectors.
I don't even change my own oil. I don't do anything of my own except pump the gas.
Now she was doing brake tests and going 150 kilometers an hour in the test booth.
I know. If somebody had told me this a few months ago, I'd have said no way.
A mother and a grandmother, Eileen finds she's become the envy of her family.
Well, my kids are very envious. I have 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter, and they all wish they were in my shoes right now. I'm doing what my kids would love, yeah.
I think all Americans what stand here doing a good job.
Really?
Really good job. It's the first time in 4 weeks. And what the people learn in 4 weeks, I think it's pretty good what the people do. Yeah. I think all people do a good job here.
The Germans take a lot of pride in what they do, and they take a lot of pride in their car, the BMW. And it was instilled in me because, you know, you have the German trainers training you how to do it, and if you're off by just a little on what you're doing, they will definitely correct you, you know, and let you know that, you know, no, this is not the way to do it, this is how you do it.
They have now a new Bavarian brand in South Carolina. And I think South Carolina is a little bit the same as Bavaria. I think it's the people and the culture. And all people like beer. I like beer.
Munich's Hofbrauhaus was a welcome diversion after the days of intensive training. Working in Bavaria does have its benefits. The associates also discovered why Bavaria was famous for its castles long before its cars. But beautiful as it was, home is where the heart is. Some of the associates had been away for almost 8 weeks. Now it was time to put into practice the lessons learned from BMW's master craftsmen. As one group returned, others were taking the first hesitant steps towards production. In the company's temporary home and using painted car bodies shipped from Germany, these associates began assembling a series of test cars called function builds. As the name indicates, these had to be fully functioning BMWs. It was all strictly by the book. The associates had written down everything they'd been taught in Germany.
You and I should be able to take that book and build a car even if we've never seen it. It should be so detailed and down to the point with the number of moves that we can also look at that and figure out, well, these are the steps that we do inside this process.
Looks like switch. I need 1.5 Newton meters on that and a Phillips number 2.
Where the book left off, the German trainers took over, prepared for the inevitable frustration and situations that hadn't been covered.
Not all bodies are the same, huh? Not all cars.
Yeah, I understand. I just... Yeah, it can get a little aggravating. You gotta work through it.
You only can learn and build up cars if you do and if you build up cars day by day, car by car. They have to do it on the car, on the line, not other way possible.
I stepped in the door and I saw this car with nothing in it, and it was really overwhelming to me. It was like, are you going to be able to do this? Are you going to be able to build these cars? You know, one car was an accomplishment.
Do it.
You know, you build one car and everybody was excited.
It really seemed like we'll never do this in a year. There's no way we'll be able to build a car in a year.
It may have seemed like a year, but each car actually took about a week to assemble. Eventually, the associates would be able to manufacture the entire car in 24 working hours.
Once we started them up, there was only one way we were going to find out how well they were going to perform.
I watched how our folks did it, and I thought we were going to, no question, it's good quality cars, so I never had any concerns whatsoever. In fact, I was very comfortable with that.
An old Air Force Base runway became the test track, and professional drivers from the Skip Barber racing team set the course.
Yeah, he put his hand on your leg to make you push it down even further.
Ease in some power, unwind your hands, more power, more power, more power.
You look at the speedometer and you're like 60, 65, and then he'll say, okay, turn to the right.
The course is over there. There we go. Back here.
Woo!
And more power.
We were pretty confident in the quality level of the car, but we knew we wanted to put them through their paces to test them to the limits, and that's exactly what we did. We used the very first 6 cars that we built were these 6 cars, and it was a very satisfying feeling to see the cars that the first 6 that we had built put through such a rigorous driving display, and they held up fine.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do it now.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Ready to go. Ready to make some cars. Ready to go.
Now in their new home, the associates quickly discovered the new plant was designed to emphasize hands-on craftsmanship with only minimal reliance on automation.
People first and machine second. Every time that I know of in any industry where we put machine first and human second, you in for some pretty good struggles.
Clear! When we first started here, this station here was more than 15 minutes. But now, based on our best takt time, we're down to probably about 5 minutes. All right, we're closing in on a minute.
Automation can be added, and I think we will eventually reach a point where we need to add some automation. But it's a wonderful way to start where people learn to do, and then therefore they can assist the automation.
Clear? All right, good job, guys. Takt time in Station 1 was 1 minute and a half.
Ironically, the new plant's biggest challenge would come from its high-technology paint shop with its combination of advanced robotics and water-based paints. Unlike traditional solvent-based paints, water-based leaves far less chemical waste. It's great for the environment, but difficult to use.
Water base is very touchy, and if the smallest thing's wrong in water base, you have a very narrow working window. Every tiny little piece of dirt, some you can't even see, has to be cleaned off of the car before it goes into the base coat booth. And we no doubt have the best primer automation, base coat, clear coat automation in the world.
The narrow working window means moving robots and moving car bodies have to be precisely coordinated. Fractions of an inch could be the difference between success and disaster.
When we're out of tolerance, the car goes in the trash can. And I think it's better to produce the quality and worry about the quantity later on.
Get the line going.
It was slow going for a while, but with the plant at the final stage before production, the pressure was on for paint to pick up speed.
And the assembly line was waiting on cars from us, and everybody knows that, so it was hard on everybody. Nobody really likes that.
We provided a very environmentally safe package and accepted the challenge of the environment up front to be the world leaders, and then took the trials and tribulations of how to fit that into a workable product. Our competitors have to come up to the same level now, and when they do that, they'll fight the same things that we fought to get started.
Also the right closing force. Should go smoother.
Keenly aware that these would be the most closely scrutinized BMWs ever made, the associates and their German colleagues took no chances. No detail could be overlooked or taken for granted.
Hundreds or thousands of things have to be done simultaneously. Building up the plan, establishing all the fixtures, machinery, and so on. But I think it's clear that the prerequisites are here. People are motivated, so I think for me, it's clear we will be successful in the launch.
Germany may be 6,000 miles away, but the standard the associates aspired to was never more than a few feet away. In the import car processing area, where German-built BMWs are readied for shipment to dealers. The goal would be German-made and American-made side by side.
I think the key element is the identity of the product and the heritage of the product has to be maintained. One mustn't convert it into something different. Most important, it has to meet the quality standards the customers are used to.
We have BMWs to build, and customers wait.
This is where it begins. Every BMW we build starts right here.
This is it. This is the birth of the BMW. This is where it's born. This car is being built by hand. They're actually building this car with their hands. The quality is built by them, and not by a machine.
We call this the marriage, where the front, middle, and rear come together and it begins to look like a car.
You join three pieces together and weld them together for the duration of the life of the car. You know, for life is a marriage.
Let's go! Let's go! Come on!
The dimension of the car is determined by the marriage station. You know, we cannot be too long, it cannot be too short. You know, it has to be perfect.
This is a sides and framing line. What we do here is build, attach the sides, quarter panels, and roof, and various MIG welding. The robots do the close tolerance attaching of the roof and the sides, and the majority of the welds, which are quite numerous. The robots take the station and do in 3 minutes what it might take everybody to do in an hour. They get in a lot of tight situations, tight areas, and they do it quite a bit faster than a human can do.
Brazing is what we're doing. We're using a brazing rod and heat. And we're actually melting braze onto a seam. It's a sealant. It's a harder sealant than just some kind of a caulk or wax sealant. Everyone is real particular about what they do. It's a pride. You know, we have pride in what we're doing, so we're trying to do the best that we can do. Being tedious, I don't think that's going to happen, because we'll continue to build our tack time, to speed up.
This is a metal finish line, and on this line we install all the outer body panels on the car, including the doors, fenders, hood, trunk lid, and the front grille.
Normally at this point, the bodies in white, as they're called, head for the paint shop. But a chosen few, selected at random, will travel two very different routes.
The CMM is a coordinate measure machine. It measures the dimensional accuracy of the body. It's very critical that our body maintains the accuracy of 1 millimeter. It's actually taken a measured point against the CAD file. It tells you whether that surface is plus or minus out of tolerance, whether it's too far out or too far in. The CMM is the most high-tech and it's the most accurate way of measuring the body. But we have another, more traditional way of measuring how good our bodies are.
I am the destruct man. Many number of things they call me, Destructamundo, and what was that, auto destruct, there's all kinds of things that they call you in here. Demolition man is another one they like to call me. I am the destruct man. This whole purpose of this is to keep our weld quality up, keep our body tight, and to make sure it's the best body built in the business.
There we go.
69. We check about 3,000 welds on the car each time. We have some varieties of models that are a nightmare to tear apart. You know, it fights you every step of the way. It's not built to come apart. That's the whole thing. It's not built to do what I do to it. We have other means of testing the welds through the process, but this is an actual physical check that says, yeah, we are making what we think we're making.
The more you do it, the more of a job it becomes, because it's a very serious job.
The end.
Now, minus one body, the metal finish line continues.
At the end of the line, we grind and smooth out the surface so there's no defects on the car as it goes to the paint shop. And even when it's still an unpainted metal body, it has to look right.
Actually, painting will be about the last thing that happens in the paint shop. Before the color can be applied, the body must be thoroughly cleaned, coated, and sealed. The process starts with a lengthy swim in the phosphate bath.
It actually forms a crystalline structure on the surface of the metal. It's got zinc, manganese, and nickel in it. And this crystalline structure protects the metal from corrosion is what it does. It just more or less seals the whole metal body.
This is our eco tank. As the car goes in, it is charged with electricity. As the car dips in, all the electricity makes the paint adhere to the car in a uniform manner. The E-coat keeps the car corrosion-proof and rust-proof.
What we're doing is we're covering the seams that come from the body shop with a PVC plastic to prevent water leakage and in some cases to help with sound deadening. Well, if it weren't on the car, then your feet would get wet, your luggage would get wet in the trunk, and that's very important stuff if you like dry feet.
The underbody PVC, the main things that it does is it provides corrosion resistance. It also is waterproofing, and it's also for sound deadening. If you run through a water puddle and if it leaks, it's my fault.
The consistency of robotics automation cannot be matched by human. The repeatability is always there. As the body is moving, the robot at any given point knows the exact precise location of the car body because it's moving with the car on its rail. And it goes in to open the doors, and even through its paint paths, it clears the various sections of the body, the B pillar, C pillar by maybe an inch. Our purpose is to produce quality automobiles, and where we can, we will do it in unique and innovative ways.
We spray gray out on the rocker panel. What that does is not only provide a little bit of accent and color to it, but it also provides a stone guard, more of a chip resistant.
This area is called cavity wax. We inject paraffin wax into the car to prevent it from rust and corrosion. This is the last stop of the paint shop. After the car body leaves here, it goes to assembly.
Every BMW is built to order with thousands of option combinations available. So it's vitally important that cars arrive on the assembly floor in the correct sequence, or else the parts on the line won't match. On their way to assembly, the freshly painted car bodies pass through the automated storage and retrieval system, better known as the stacker. A barcode gives each car a distinct identity. The stacker knows the sequence and stores or retrieves the cars accordingly.
When the car comes out of the storage system, it hits a reader called 5300. When it hits this reader, there's a trigger. It prints paper. the suppliers get a data transfer. They know that this car is going to be hitting the assembly line in 2 hours. In that process, our local suppliers are sending the parts that we need just in time within that 2-hour period to the assembly line, as you can see the blue bins down here, and then that's ready when the car reaches that point in the line.
Well, this is the tilt area. This is actually the beginning of the assembly of the car. And in this area we put on the fuel tank, the brake lines, as well as the sound installation and fuel lines. The car, after it turns upright, it will transfer onto what's called the AABV. That's the automatic vehicles for taking it around the assembly area.
We're using the protectors to keep from scratching or denting the car, making sure when you're leaning up against the car, putting VIN labels on, or whatever your particular process is, you don't scratch or dent the body of the car.
Actually, our station is a preparation station for the rest of the line. We put our VIN labels on, which are anti-theft stickers, many of the sound deadeners, the sound insulations, things like that. We take the doors off here and send them on an overhead conveyor system so that when the car travels throughout our area that the doors aren't dented, scratched, or damaged during assembly.
For part of their journey, the doors travel in a parallel line above the assembly floor. Assembled and unassembled doors quietly passing, each with a different destination.
There's nothing in the door at all, so we have to start from scratch, build the door from beginning all the way to the end. We've probably got over 200 parts out here that go in a set of doors. The doors go down to the lift on the end of the line, they go overhead, and then they're transported across the plant to the doors on area, which is in trim 1B.
The doors will reunite with the rest of the car later in the assembly process. All of the work in the factory is done by teams. Nowhere is this more evident than in the wiring harness, the complex maze that connects every electrical component of the car. The team started as 2 people and is growing as output increases.
The team concept is something which allows each one to teach one. When you come into the team, you learn by someone teaching you. And then once you have mastered the job, you're able to in turn teach someone else.
New team members may initially know nothing about a wiring harness, but their previous experiences are valuable nonetheless.
It's always helpful to have a fresh eye. If you're doing something, you're used to doing it that way, you might not be able to see it just like someone else would. They might have a different angle. They might even be better. So it is part of the continuous improvement and growth.
Part of what makes this factory unique is its completely open environment. Wherever you work, wherever you look, you can see a car in some state of completion.
The good point of seeing the car is like seeing a baby growth, you know. You get excited, you get involved, you know the different stages. You're always in touch. So if you have a problem somewhere, it's not a need to go to another building. You just walk over the line, look at the car, oh yeah, I see a point, maybe have to change something. So you live really with the process. It doesn't matter where you work, you always live with the process and within the process.
When I put that emblem on, it made me feel really good, and it was like, this is what makes this car what it is. This is the BMW.
This is the urethane robot area. This robot puts on urethane on the glass, urethane being the glue that actually seals the windshield in place in the car. We do this by robot because the B dimension is very critical, and doing it by hand you have the human error involved. We have gauges that we use to set and center the windshield, and without centering the windshield might be laid off to one side or the other, creating wind noise. Yeah, right there.
The fully assembled doors now descend from their waiting area to be reunited with the rest of the car. Assembly is nearly 2/3 complete, but several major steps remain. The car body itself will transfer to an overhead carrier to ease installation of the bumpers and position it for arrival of the powertrain.
The engine is actually brought around on an AABV carrier, and as the car is passing over on an overhead carrier, the engine and front axle is actually raised and placed in position up into the underbody of the car. This operation here is actually the heart. That's when the car becomes a BMW.
As far as the underbody is concerned, we have the exhaust to put on. We hook up all the fuel lines, the clutch hoses. We do all brake lines, put the tires on, put the wheels on. We have 137 parts just in our area that we have to put on. We have a unique group. I think is just by luck that we've got the personalities that we do in our group.
Viva Las Vegas! I thought Elvis was dead, but he right here BMW.
We have a good time here. We enjoy our work, what we do. We have a family atmosphere, and we take our work very serious in what we do.
The freshly assembled BMWs now return to ground level, where they will be filled with the necessary fluids and begin a series of rigorous tests and inspections.
It's the ECO station, and that stands for the electrical checkout system, and it checks all the electrical currents of the car, and then you have a handheld remote. They tell you which doors to open, and they tell you to turn on like your park lights, your headlights, bright lights.
This is our wheel alignment area, and what we do here is we drive the car onto a special platform, and 4 flotation heads come out and attach themselves to the wheels and take approximately 277 precise measurements of each wheel. And it lets the person in the pit know how much of adjustment to make positive or negative towards the camber and the toe. It's the most expensive machine we have on the test line. It's right around $3 million.
Well, in the road biz, we'll bring it up to highway and above highway speeds. The overall thing is if something's wrong, we want to know now. We run up to that speed, and if it's going to mess up, let it mess up with us. The car must do what the computer program calls for it to do. If it won't, then there's something wrong. It's aggressive driving.
This is where we recheck the whole body to make sure that all the gaps are all within a millimeter of tolerance. We use the gauge to make a precise measurement of the gaps of the car. You get to where your eyes will focus in pretty good on that, but the gauge is the precise instrument you use. Well, the end result is a car with no wind noise. It looks good to the customer.
On the road test, we check for rattles. We have a cobblestone rough surface. Our cobblestone's a little critical, but because we have to be critical. Once that is done, we take it around the road test track itself. We're like the customer, the final customer before it goes to the actual customer. After you complete the road test, the car goes on to the water test. There's a 2-minute leak test for critical, more or less like downpours.
But that's only the beginning. Since water doesn't only come from above, the new car must endure 8 minutes in a booth aptly called the hurricane.
Because you're not going to run into conditions this severe unless you are in a hurricane. Check for any window leaks around, water leaks around the window, make sure no water is coming in through the windshield, the rear windshield, through the doors, and you'll be able to tell pretty quickly if you have a major leak.
And even after everything else is satisfactory, the new car must still pass one more test. You might call this the religion of BMW.
Right here on our testing line, we try to make sure that our hoods and our trunks, all of our gaps are even. Make sure our headlights and fog lights are flush to the bumpers and the fenders so that the car will look very elegant. We call it that BMW feel. I had a German trainer that taught me very well. Max is from Regensburg, and he told me to close my eyes and just feel. He said, if it feels good, it's right. And believe it or not, people can really tell. When you stand back and look at a car, you can tell whether it has a gap in it. I can stand back and just look at it and make sure everything is even, and you'll say, okay, just like when you're shopping for a dress. If it looks good on the hanger, 9 times out of 10 it'll look good on you. If it doesn't look good on the hanger, leave it there. One thing about BMW is ongoing training. You learn from everybody, and that's what's good. I know it's supposed to sound like now. I didn't at first, and I was like, they were telling me, close your eyes and just imagine. I was like, what am I listening for? You know, but yeah, that's good.
Until the plant in Spartanburg, BMWs were manufactured at 3 Bavarian plants in Munich, Dingolfing, and Regensburg, and shipped to more than 100 countries. With production steadily increasing, Spartanburg is about to join its German colleagues in the world market.
This is not a plant for the United States. This is a plant in the United States for the world market. And we are exporting and importing. We are producing cars for the United States and Canada and Mexico and Europe and Far East.
And the first U.S.-made BMW for the world is the new Z3 Roadster.
This car is going to be a success. Yes, it's going to be hitting a market where other products are out there, but you can clearly see this looks like a BMW, and I can tell you it drives like a real BMW.
In appearance, the Z3 harkens back to the 328 Roadster of the 30s and the 507 Roadster of the 50s.
Well, you'll find some elements of the traditional, of the heritage BMWs in there, but this is a true modern, contemporary expression of what a Roadster in today's time could be.
The feel of it, the driving, the handling, I just love it all. You just feel like a kid again when you drive it.
Eileen Huffman has good reason to be proud. One of the first production associates hired, she has grown in a year and a half from trainee to test driver of the new Roadster.
It's amazing how far I've come, how far the Roadsters come, how far the plants come. It's just, everything's coming together at the same time.
A year after the first 3 Series rolled off the production line, the Z3 joins the list of BMWs in production in the USA. There is every reason to believe that many more new models are planned for the South Carolina plant.
No other company would try to bring on product of total different nature within a new facility that rapid. Because of the marketplace that we deal in, perhaps it makes it necessary that we are able to do that. So we have to some way learn to be flexible and quick like a cat.
Okay, let's go. Come on, let's go. First floor, Southern region. Southern region.
It's personal pride of all the work, all the effort, all the inspections that go into these cars. The quality level of these cars meet or exceed the BMW world standards, and that's our mandate. The cars have to be BMW quality or they can't be shipped.
We are very confident that our customers here in the States will love it. Made in South Carolina.
Each of the current 570 associates have affixed their signatures to this car to make it a document of their responsibilities and their commitment to make this plant and BMW a lasting success. Ladies and gentlemen, what you see here is obviously a brand new BMW 318i. But this car is much more. This car is a three-dimensional document. Right now, Bernd Püscheltrieder, Al Kinzer, and myself will add our signatures to this car to show our commitment to make this plant and to make BMW a lasting success.
operation is not going to be all that we do in South Carolina.